Thanks for joining me. My name's Tony Knoll, and today I'm going to be talking about the grape variety of Semillon. Now, Semillon can be traced back to the early 18th century in the Sauternes region of Bordeaux in France, but the Semillon that they produce in France is a very different style to what we actually see in this country and we're mostly familiar with. In Sauternes, what they do is they let the grapes stay on the vine until what would normally be after the usual harvest time, so that the grapes can get infected with a fungus infection, which they call noble rot or Botrytis cinerea. Now, what happens is the berries shrivel up and become very small and tight, and the sugar intensifies, so it allows the French to make a very elegant but intensely flavoured style of sweet wine that we see labelled Sauternes. But in Australia, the Semillon plantings in the Hunter Valley, which is something we've become quite well known for internationally, make very elegant dry style of wines that can live for a very long period of time. Now, this Semillon grown in the Hunter Valley is particularly distinctive because it has an incredibly high natural acidity, which enables the wine to live for a very long period of time. So the fruit can actually be picked quite early, so it's not very high in alcohol, sometimes as low as 9 or 10%, which is unusual for white wine. And the other distinctive thing about it is it's not necessarily always fermented in oak, so it's not like these big rich Chardonnays that we see. So this wine, although it's because of this really natural high acidity, can live for long periods of time. It can comfortably go for 10 years. And after 10 years, it has these really beautiful, interesting honey toast sort of style flavours. And it makes it very hard to guess what this wine is for a lot of the so-called wine experts. When they taste the wines and not knowing what they are, it can be very misleading. So it's quite fun trying these wines when they're very old. Now, Semillon's planted in a number of different regions in Australia. There's some plantings in the Margaret River in Western Australia, and in South Australia there's several plantings in the Clare Valley in the Barossa and also the Adelaide Hills. But they're very well-known plantings, and the wine that we're looking at today is from Tyrrells in the Hunter Valley. Now, Tyrrells have got a very long-established history for producing Semillon over a long period of time and make very good, consistent wines which do age for at least 10 years and sometimes even longer. Now, as we see the wine entering the glass, we can see really nice golden hay type of colours. Let's see what it smells like. Oh, beautiful lift of aromas of citrus and fresh hay. Beautiful honey flavours and some waxy length and beautiful lemon sort of acidity round out the palate to make that a really nice Semillon. Now, the temperature to drink Semillon at best is only slightly chilled, like most white wine that I recommend. If it's too cold, you can sometimes mask the fruit flavours, so you can't really taste the wine that well. Glassware, just a stock standard white wine glass, like the one I'm using today, is very acceptable. Now, the aging with Semillon, if it's from a good producer, from a good vintage, it can live for quite a while. So 10 years is not unusual for an Australian Semillon to live, so they can be cellared for quite some time. And the wines match particularly well with all shell food, seafood dishes, and even some white meats, so it's a very versatile grape. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.
Now Anna is going to be showing us this castagnacho. That's a hard word, isn't it?
It is.
Which is the chestnut flour cake. Now, this is obviously something very famous from where you come from, isn't it? Because there's lots of chestnuts.
Yeah, especially from the area called Garfagnana. Garfagnana.
Yeah, she's got it with these words tonight, Michele. I can see she's going to really make me struggle. But so it's easy to buy in supermarkets?
Yeah, in Italian grocery you can find it.
Okay,
yeah.
Fantastic. And I know that the most important thing is the chestnut flour becomes stale very, very quickly. So you've got to be able to use it up fairly quickly. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. Or keep in the fridge.
I'll keep it in the fridge, you see. Michele, you see...
And there's also a different quality of chestnut flour. You have to be careful because some of them are really bitter because they actually ground even the part of the skin. They get really bitter.
Oh, really?
That's correct, yeah.
Oh.
And they're not really
resourceful, these Italians.
Not really good for this cake.
Yeah. Fantastic. So what is the basis of the recipe, Anna?
It's the flour, of course.
How much flour are we talking about?
At the moment, we got a half kilo flour.
Half a kilo flour.
And we're going to put some rosemary,
Yes.
some orange peel,
Orange peel.
and walnuts.
That's
And
not candied peel, it's just straight orange, isn't it?
orange peel.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
all right. And some walnuts.
Yes.
Alrighty, because there's lots of different variations on this castagnaccio. Because I know you can do it with pinoli, you
That's
can put it
correct.
con la uvetta saltanina, which is
That's
the
correct.
raisins,
Yeah.
soaked in rum.
Every part of Tuscany, people do different
Variations,
wine.
yeah.
Variations.
And I know in a lot of the recipes they do include sugar, but of course if you have a good quality chestnut flour, the sweetness should come from the flour itself.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Anna?
That's correct.
And you're going to show us this ancient cake and the typical recipe.
Okay.
Allora, vai avanti, dai.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot the water. We're going to put some water.
Now, how much water do you put in for half a kilo?
Just see.
How many seconds, Michele? Do you remember the famous seconds? Should we do? Was that 5 seconds worth? Okay. It's just to attain a very soft, runny
yes,
consistency, isn't it, Anna?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, not too dense.
Yeah. Look
I
at
think
that.
I think it's the amazing thing of this cake is the fact that actually rosemary is used for a cake. That's
Oh, that's right.
and it goes really well.
Extra water.
Di più acqua, Anna?
Yeah, to acqua. And then we're going to put all the other ingredients. Going to put a pinch of salt, some rosemary. No much. We put on top after.
Okay.
On peel.
So we're talking your typical Italian recipes, a pinch of this, a little handful of that, okay? That's what makes it so special.
That's it.
Basta.
And we're going to put some extra walnuts.
Walnuts. Now, these are just walnuts that you buy, or is it best to crack them yourself?
Best if you go fresh.
Yeah, because they can become very rancid, the walnuts,
Yeah.
can't they?
Yes.
Okay. Then look at that. So it's quite easy to do because just
It's
with
easy. Just
yeah.
mix all together.
Yeah.
No eggs at all on this
No,
cake.
nothing.
Mamma mia,
Yeah.
look at that.
Or probably extra. I think you need some of that.
See, it's the eye of the experienced chef here.
You can try that again.
Do you know, there's quite a strong smell coming through,
Yeah, see,
Anna?
that's a good quality of flour. That's what
Okay.
I smell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last we're going to put the baking powder.
Now, is that roughly what, 1 teaspoon?
One
or more?
teaspoon, yeah.
1
Yeah.
teaspoon of baking powder.
Yeah.
All right. And that just helps it rise a little bit, doesn't
Can you
it?
please put some oil? Good quality oil. So
Okay.
we need that.
More?
Yeah.
That's probably at least 2
Yeah.
tablespoons full. Yeah?
Yeah.
There's a piece of greaseproof paper on the tray.
All right.
Petra,
Now that's it. Beautiful. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
We're going to put some extra stuff on top.
Okay, here we go.
So it doesn't have to be really thick, just thin. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a lovely sort of light brown colour, often what you would see when you cook up chestnuts. It's actually got the colour of chestnuts, absolutely.
Yeah, we
Okay.
put extra.
So she does a
Extra
garnish.
walnuts.
Garnish
on
of
top.
walnuts.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So in effect, we want a cake tin that is large enough to allow the mixture to spread over because you don't want this to be a high cake,
No.
correct?
No.
Bon.
Yeah. Some extra peel.
So some. Now, can you use lemon peel or other things, or is it
yeah.
best with orange, isn't it?
I think it's best with orange.
All right. Fantastic.
But I'm a very traditional person.
Yes. That's why you're here, Anna. You like the
So
traditions.
this one has to go in the oven, okay?
Yeah.
How long?
I need a bit of oil on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long we putting it in the oven?
Good half an hour.
Half an hour. At
She's
200.
very liberal with the oil.
That's it.
How many degrees you want the oven?
200.
All right.
And,
Preheated?
Preheated.
Yeah.
And how do you know when the cake is ready? There is a way of knowing when the cake is ready.
When it's hard. When you touch, it's not soft.
Doesn't
anymore.
have to start cracking at
It
all.
crack a bit.
That's-
yeah.
yeah.
It's golden and it
Yeah, but you have
crackles.
to be hard, not soft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
fantastic.
so we're going to put
We're
this in the
talking
oven.
about a minimum, 30 minutes to 40 minutes, something like that. So that's just a guesstimate, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, now we're going to get Caterina.
Buonasera, Caterina Brigante.
Buonasera.
Thank you for joining us again this evening.
200 degrees, half an hour.
Okay. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned this evening. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's segment on the food of Tuscany, the wonderful castagnaccio, which was made by the beautiful Anna. It looks fantastic, and it's got that lovely crackled golden colour that she said we would get, and there it is. And of course to Michele for putting all this fish together for the caciucco from Livorno. Two great things to do, and there are variations, so we always try to give you other ideas, because I know often sometimes the ingredients are difficult to come by. And I know there's a big thank you to the design team down at Melbourne Design Incubator, located at Melbourne Central. Buonasera, grazie. Thank you to Michele. And Michele, do you think if we ask nicely enough that Anna will come back next week?
I'm sure she will.
Will you? Oh, good. Okay. Buonasera, grazie. Buon appetito.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.